Welcome to another Fantasy Goodfellas video where we talk about the top 30 running back rankings for week 13. Richard, you ready?
Let's do it.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom.
Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Before we get started on this week's rankings, Richard, tell me how we did last week.
Last week, if we take Travis Etienne, who was hurt early, Raheem Mostert, who didn't play, and Leonard Fournette, who did not play, we hit on 19 of 27 running backs, which was decent. But it kind of puts an end to our 6-week boom streak with running backs. We were on fire. 19 of 27 is pretty good, but I wouldn't say boom material. We missed on McCaffrey, Pollard, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Singletary, Antonio Gibson, Dameon Pierce, and DeAndre Swift.
Well, time to start a new streak. Before we get started on this week's video, let me just explain what you should expect. Richard gives his rankings. I use our stat machine to see if you agree or disagree with each of his rankings, and hopefully this video will help you set your lineups. All right, Richard, line them up.
All right. Buys Arizona and Carolina. And number 1, Austin Eckler at Las Vegas. With Justin Herbert looking good in week 12, we gotta put Austin Eckler at the top. He has a great matchup in week 13, and Eckler can do everything. And number 2, Josh Jacobs, home against the LA Chargers. It's about time we give the man respect. I dog him pretty much every week, saying, he shouldn't get as many touches as he gets. He's exceeding expectations, all that. Watch him come back down to earth. And guess what? He has. He keeps producing. We saw what he did in week 12. And number 3, Derrick Henry at Philadelphia. It's a tough defensive matchup, and they may be forced to pass more, the Tennessee Titans. But Derrick Henry still is one of the guys with the highest floor because he's going to get touches. And man, he is so fast for his size. And number 4, Nick Chubb at Houston. Nick Chubb gets Deshaun Watson. We'll see how that works. And a great matchup. And number 5, Jonathan Taylor at Dallas. JT showing us some signs of life. Hopefully the trend continues. Dallas is a tough matchup, but that offense is going to have to do something to compete, so he'll probably catch a lot of balls out of the backfield, even better for PPR. And number 6, Christian McCaffrey, home against Miami. Elijah Mitchell is going to miss 6 to 8 weeks, so that means it's Christian McCaffrey. I know they're going to try to limit his touches, try to keep him healthy for the playoffs, but you got to lean on a guy that's this good. And number 7, Kenneth Walker at the LA Rams, who I believe to be the rookie of the year, continues to deliver, and the Rams are floundering. I mean, I don't think they have anything to play for now. And now Seattle absolutely needs this game after their loss in week 12. And number 8, Ramondre Stevenson, home against Buffalo. Dameon Harris is probably going to miss a game, and every time that happens, Stevenson goes nuts. He caught a lot of balls last weekend. So even in PPR, Ramondre Stevenson looks like a stud. And number 9, Dalvin Cook, home against the New York Jets. Dalvin Cook gave us a stinker in week 12. I think that's an anomaly. I think he'll rebound even against a good defense. Dalvin Cook has been making plays all season. And number 10, Saquon Barkley, home against Washington. I'm officially starting to get worried about Saquon Barkley. He's starting to look like he looked last season. I don't know what it is. Is he beat up? He hasn't been the guy we saw in the first 5-6 weeks. And number 11, Aaron Jones at Chicago. Aaron Jones still making plays, making things happen. Again, issues with him. A.J. Dillon, Aaron Rodgers' health. There are other factors. I mean, what is Green Bay playing for at this point? So because of that, but talent-wise, he can compete with anyone. And number 12, Joe Mixon, home against Kansas City. Yes, Mixon's still in the concussion protocol, so there are question marks there. But he is expected to play in week 13. And if he's given the helm again as the running back for Cincinnati, he'll be fine. because they're going to have to keep up with the Chiefs. At number 13, Travis Etienne at Detroit. Great matchup. Etienne, apparently his injury that knocked him out of week 12 is not serious. Apparently he could have come back in, but they just wanted to be safe with him. Didn't bring him back in, but apparently he's going to play. And again, great matchup. And number 14, Jeff Wilson at San Francisco. Didn't do much. I mean, scored a touchdown, but didn't do much against Houston, the Texans. But again, that whole offense just basically took a break in the second half. We'll see against a much tougher defense how much Jeff Wilson's used, but he's still the running back on arguably the best offense in football. And number 15, Tony Pollard, home against Indianapolis. Pollard had an off week in week 12. We expect him to rebound in week 13. The Cowboys have been winning, so I expect good things from both him and Elliott. At number 16, Alvin Kamara at Tampa Bay. Again, a guy that should be ranked much higher, but there are major question marks with that offense. And number 17, Jamal Williams, home against Jacksonville. The grit running back who has so many touchdowns this season, didn't do so well in week 12. We expect a rebound. Jacksonville's a good matchup. 18, Rashad White, home against New Orleans. Leonard Fournette may not play again, which means Rashad White will be the number 1 in Tampa Bay. He should be fine. And number 19, Ezekiel Elliott, home against Indianapolis. Zeke has been producing every time he plays, has been scoring touchdowns. That offense is fine. And number 20, Dameon Pierce, home against Cleveland. We saw what can happen to Dameon Pierce week 12 where he produced nothing. That can happen. He absolutely has a low floor. But he is also the number 1 in Houston, and they love to feed him the ball. At number 21, Miles Sanders, home against Tennessee. In week 12, we saw best case scenario, Miles Sanders. But on any given week, he can also give you a goose egg where Jalen Hurts takes all the rushing touchdowns and his rushing is limited. So you never know what to get, but the upside is high. At number 22, Devin Singletary at New England, number 1 running back on a strong offense. You got to rank him in the top 30. That's all I got to say about Devin Singletary. Just a good situation. And number 25, Isaiah Pacheco at Cincinnati. He got 23 touches in week 12. That's what you want to see. A lot of touches in a good offense. He'll be fine. And number 26, Najee Harris at Atlanta. Is he going to play? Has an abdominal issue. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? If he does, it's a decent matchup. And Kenny Pickett is looking better. And number 27, Gus Edwards, home against Denver. Gus, is he 100%? He's starting to get more touches. I think eventually, as the number 1 running back on that offense, he should be usable in fantasy. And number 28, Cordarrelle Patterson, home against Pittsburgh. Cordarrelle Patterson, big play running back on an erratic offense. You wish Mariota passed him more, but he doesn't. And the Cordarrelle Patterson is a home run threat. And number 29, A.J. Dillon at Chicago. You gotta rank A.J. Dillon because he gets touches. But that whole Green Bay offense right now, a lot of question marks. But Chicago, great matchup. And number 30, Latavius Murray at Baltimore. Latavius should be ranked higher, but huge question marks at quarterback. What the hell's going on with Russell Wilson? That Denver offense has looked putrid. And there you have it, your top 30 running backs for week 13.
So let's just compare some of your rankings to some other rankings. You got Travis Etienne at 13. Some other rankings have him at 19.
Yeah, because again, I think the issue is he healthy? Is he going to play? He had some sort of knee problem, but they said it was okay, no problem. X-rays were negative. He could have come back in week 12. So I'm trusting that, and I think Travis Etienne, if he gets 20 touches, he'll definitely produce.
All right. We also have, you got Ezekiel Elliott at 19. Some other rankings have him at 25.
I mean, I've liked him all year, and it's paid off for me all year.
Okay.
because he seems to score a touchdown almost every game.
And the last one is Miles Sanders at 21. Other rankings have him at 15.
Yeah, he just had a great week 12, got into the end zone multiple times. Again, for me, he's too erratic. Week in, week out, too erratic. He's on a good offense. Jalen Hurts is making things happen, but Jalen Hurts is scoring a lot of those rushing touchdowns. And sometimes Miles Sanders gets a handful of touches, does nothing with them, and you have a goose egg. So just erratic result. For that reason, I don't rank him as high as some others.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on here and sharing your top 30 running back rankings for week 13. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, Richard's happy to answer them in the comment section. Richard, parting words?
Go USA.
Those fantasy good fellas.
Rolling on the field.
Those fantasy good fellas.